Hello friends, how are you guys? All right, this video I'm going to be talking about why is it is very important for Osun not to fall. Why it is important for every political opposition party to go to Osun and rally a support for the governor, regardless of whatever party you belong to. If Osun State fall and you allow that governor to be rigged out, democracy is dead. That is the last line of defense for all opposition parties if you still want Nigeria to remain under democracy. Osun is the last line of defense. Every political party should converge in Osun and rally around to the governor to make sure he wins that election, to make sure he's not rigged out. No any opposition party should stay away and say Osun does not concern to you. If Osun fall, democracy in Nigeria fall. This is the last line of defense to save the democracy in Nigeria. So I will advise every political opposition party to converge in Osun, rally round to the governor to support him, to make sure, in fact, move all your supporters to Osun. That should be a battleground. Because if you allow APC to rig this guy out, whatever APC is doing now, they are test running what is going to happen in the presidential election. And no any opposition party should stay away and say, by the way, he does not belong to my party. No. Osun is like Ukraine. When Ukraine come under attack, okay, against invasion of Russia, NATO step up and say, no, Ukraine is the last defense of Europe. If you allow Russia to conquer Ukraine, the next country is going to be what? What is that next country next to Ukraine? Putin is going to keep moving forward. If NATO have stayed away or Europe have stayed away and allow Ukraine to fall, Russia is not going to stop at Ukraine. They will go proceed to Poland. Poland will be the next line of attack. And that is why NATO step in. All Europe step in to say, this is the gateway to our civilization, our democracy in Europe. Ukraine must not fall. When a bully comes with a force, the only language a bully understands is force. A bully does not understand plea. So when I see all these opposition party pleading with the presidency to do this, I say, you guys are coward. The only language a bully understands and respect and stay away is force. You match them with what they come for. Osun must not fall. If you guys allow Osun to fall, then that's the end of democracy. Come 2027, it's just going to be a walkover. So if I were all the opposition party, you converge there with your supporters and rally around. In fact, every governor in every other party contesting should step down for Adeleke to continue. And make sure, that's how to send a message to the governing party that we are not going to stand by for you guys to run us out of the market. So I'm going to make a video, so I want you guys just to follow me, and then see what this is just an intro. Okay, this is just an intro. So we're going to start now. I'm going to give you guys my own opinion on how I feel Osun should be handled. All right, Osun State and the democracy. Osun State and the defense of democracy. Let the people choose their leaders. When democracy is tested, every Democrat must stand for rules. Okay? When democracy is tested, every Democrat must stand for the rules. The political situation in Osun State deserves the attention of every Nigerian who believes in constitutional democracy, free elections, and the right of citizens to choose their leaders without intimidations, coercions, or manipulations. Osun should not be viewed merely as another electoral contest between political parties. It should be viewed as a test of whether Nigeria's democratic institutions are strong enough to guarantee that citizens, not political power, government machineries, money, or intimidations determine who governs the state or who governs them. Now, the comparison with the Ukraine that I was trying to explain can be useful as a metaphor. I'm using Ukraine as a metaphor, although the situations are obviously very different. Ukraine represents, in that analogy, a society fighting to preserve its sovereignties and democratic choice against external dominations. Osun can similarly be described as a front line in Nigeria's continuing struggle to ensure that elections remain genuinely determined by voters. But there is one important distinction, friends. Osun does not belong to any political party. Osun belongs to the people of Osun State. The governor belongs to the people. The opposition belongs to the people. The ruling party belongs to the people. The electoral commission belongs to the constitutional process. And ultimately, political power belongs to the Nigerian people. The principle that must not be compromised. What do I mean by that? Regardless of which party wins an election, Nigeria should be able to say the winner was chosen by the voters, not by the judiciary. That is the foundation of a democratic legitimacy. If a candidate wins an election because citizens freely voted for that candidate, the result should be what? Respected. If another candidate wins, that result should also be what? Respected. But if an election is manipulated through intimidations, violence, unlawful interference, suppression of voters, abuse of state institutions, or falsifications of results, then the problem is much bigger than the political fortunes of one candidate. It damages democracy itself. This is why Osun matters. Friends, this is why Osun matters. An election in Osun should not become a battle over which political party has the greater ability to deploy governmental power. All right? It should be a competition over policies, all right, leadership, accountability, economic development, security, education, all right, healthcare, infrastructure, employment, all right. The welfare of the citizens, okay, matters a lot. The ballot box should determine the winner, not to be selected or the judiciary. Not intimidations, not political connections, not government machineries, not thuggery, not threats, okay, not manipulations, friends, and certainly not the ability of one side to deploy greater political power. Every party should defend the same principles. Every party, regardless of your party you belong to, if you're the opposition, should defend the same principle. Osun must not fall. This is where Nigeria's political class need to rise above partisan interests. The question should not be, which party are you supporting at this time? The question should be, friends, do you believe Nigerians should be allowed to choose their leaders freely? If the answer is yes, then every political party should defend the integrity of fair electoral process in Osun State and rally around and support the governor. That means the ruling party should defend it. Opposition parties should defend it. Civil society organizations should what? Defend it. Religious and traditional leaders should also defend it. Journalists should also defend it. Election observers should also do what? Defend it. And most importantly, Nigerian citizens should also defend it peacefully. Because an electoral system that is unfair to your political opponents today can become unfair to you tomorrow. Do not turn political disagreement into political warfare. There is also an important warning. Defending democracy does not mean encouraging violence or thuggery or use of state power. Nobody should respond to political intimidation with counter-intimidation. APC has no monopoly of what? Violence. Nobody should respond to thuggery with greater thuggery. Nobody should attack electoral officials, opponents, or innocent citizens. Nobody should destroy property. Nobody should threaten political opponents. The strongest defense to democracy is not political violence. It is lawful, peaceful, organized civic participation. APC should be aware that they have no monopoly of all these principles. Citizens should be allowed to express their civic right and vote. Political parties should deploy accredited agents. Observers should document irregularities. Journalists should report verified facts. Electoral officials should follow the law. Security agencies should remain politically neutral. And where disputes arise, parties should use the court and other lawful mechanisms available under the Nigerian law. The rule of electoral institutions. I'm speaking to the institutions now, INEC. The integrity of an election cannot depend on which political party controls the federal government, the state government, or any other institutions. Electoral institutions must be able to demonstrate independence and also professionalism. Security agencies must protect voters rather than intimidate them. Government officials must not use public resources to create an unfair electoral advantage. And the political parties must respect the rules of the engagement. And voters must be allowed to cast their ballot without fear or any intimidations. The most important message from Osun should therefore be, let the people vote. Let the vote be counted. Let the result reflect the will of the people. Let legitimate dispute be resolved according to the law. Osun must not become a test of who can deploy the most power. Nigeria has witnessed too many elections in which political competition becomes a struggle over access to state institutions rather than a contest of ideas. That cycle must end. If the incumbent is popular, let the incumbent win through the ballots. If the challenger is popular, let the challenger win through the ballots. If another candidate is preferred by voters, let that candidate win. The democratic principles is remarkably simple. The people must choose. That principle is more important than any individual politicians. It is more important than any political party. It is more important than today's electoral victory, because political parties come and then go. Politicians come and then go. Government come and then go. But democratic institutions must survive. The Osun election should be about the future of Nigerian democracy. This is why every Nigerian should pay attention. Every opposition party should pay attention, not because one particular candidate must win, but because every legitimate vote must what? Count. The real victory should not belong to a political party. The real victory should belong to the voter. If the incumbent wins legitimately, democracy wins. If the challenger wins legitimately, democracy wins. If another candidate wins legitimately, democracy wins. But if citizens are prevented from freely determining their governments, then every Nigerian loses something. That is the real danger. A message to all political parties, to every political party contesting election in Nigeria: do not ask Nigerians to defend your party merely because it is your party. Ask Nigerians to defend the right of votes. Do not demand loyalty to a politician above loyalty to democracy. Do not turn political disagreement into hatred. Do not encourage violence. Instead, insist on transparent elections, impartial institutions, credible counting, peaceful participations, and lawful dispute resolution. And when our opponent, excuse me, and when your opponent's rights are threatened, defend the principle, even if you disagree with the opponents. Because democracy cannot survive if every political party defends democracy only when it benefits them. There's something I call the principle must be bigger than the party. That is the lesson Osun can give to Nigerians. Osun does not need to become a battlefield. It needs to become an example of citizens standing peacefully for their constitutional right, an example of political parties competing fiercely but respecting democratic rules, an example of electoral institutions doing their jobs without fear or favor. An example of a society demonstrating their political power must ultimately come from the people. Let Osun vote. The ultimate message should therefore be neither protect these politicians nor destroy that politician. It should be protect the vote, protect the voter, protect the electoral process, protect the constitutional democracy, and then allow the people of Osun State to decide their own government. If the people choose their incumbent, respect their choices. If they choose the challenger, respect their choices. If also they choose another candidate, respect their choices. Okay? Because democracy is not a guarantee that your preferred candidate will win. Democracy is the guarantee that your fellow citizens, not the political power, get to decide who wins. That is the principle Nigeria must defend. And that principle should never belong to one party. It belongs to all of us. Friends, Osun people, citizens must allow to express their civic right constitutionally and allow to vote. Let them vote and select their leaders. Once more, regardless of any party you belong to, if you're an opposition party, this is the time to converge in Osun. That is the last line of defense. If Osun falls, democracy in Nigeria come 2027 is gone. The governor needs your total support. It's an opposition state, and that is why, regardless whichever party he belongs to, he needs your total support. You, the opposition party, your supporters are supposed to be in that state to defend democracy. If you allow him to be rigged out, that is it. No state is in isolation. Every state will be treated the same. But if you stop it at Osun and say enough is enough, we cannot allow this to happen, you send a message that the people have decided that we cannot stand by and be intimidated and our vote taken away, not counted. And that is why, regardless of whatever party you belong to, as long as you're an opposition party, this is the time you have to be counted. Osun need your total support to make sure that state still remains an opposition state. Make sure this video gets to everybody. All right. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm going to see you guys in my next video. Keep watching. If this is your first time coming across my page, you can join the page. Let me hear, I want to read from you guys in the comment sections what you guys think about it. Leave me your comment, and I'm going to respond to you guys later. All right. So make sure you guys share this video, and then hopefully I'm going to see you guys shortly. Bye-bye.